We got the Xfinity cars over at Watkins Glen. This is the initial thoughts and preview video coming into the weekend. Our Cup preview video is also up live right now. As always, once practice and qualifying is done, we will get our picks spreadsheet, basically out, posted on Twitter. It's at FastCarsFM. We'll also get another quick picks video out there for everybody. So this one's focusing on the Xfinity series. We got 82 laps. Watkins Glen, if you don't know, it is a road course. One thing with this slate, it's pretty stacked field. There's a lot of really strong drivers in this field. There's a lot of cars showing up. Not everyone is going to make the race. Not a ton of points available from a dominator perspective. You have 20.5 points available for laps led and 36.9 points available for fast laps. When it comes to road courses, since there aren't a ton of laps, really the main focus for your lineup is I want to just focus on really finishing position, ideally rostering 5, 6 drivers who I know have top 15, top 10 upside, just depending on, where those drivers start. Usually what we see is 1 to 2 drivers dominating, kind of being those lap leaders for you. So getting those, figuring out who you're most confident in, who are going to be those lap leaders, plugging them in, and then rostering the rest of your can line up with drivers who either just messed up in their qualifying, who start really deep, who hey, there's no way this driver's he starts 30th. He's a lot better than that. His equipment's a lot better. I can see him getting inside the top 15 by the end of the day. Those types of plays, or just value plays of, hey, this is a driver who's pretty cheap on the slate. His equipment's great. His skill set's great. I think his upside is a lot higher than drivers priced around him, and trying to configure your line in that type of manner. So it'll be difficult to tell you who exactly those plays are without seeing practice in qualifying, but coming into the weekend can give you some drivers that originally kind of stood out to me. So when it comes to the lap leader, I think it really is just really, in my opinion, down to 5 drivers. I think it's either going to be Larson, Allmendinger, Gibbs, Byron, or Custer. Allmendinger, we know, is an Xfinity Series regular. He's amazing at the road courses. It feels like he wins 40, 50% of the time. But he has some really stiff competition. A lot of Cup drivers coming down. Ty Gibbs is probably, looking at the Xfinity Series regulars, you put AJ Allmendinger first and Ty Gibbs second, and then it's a very large gap. There isn't really any other Xfinity regular drivers I would feel confident getting out front and leading. The problem is you have a couple of Cup drivers kind of throwing a wrench into that plan, throwing some unknowns with Larson, Byron, and Custer. So Custer, yes, it is a SS Greenlight, the '07 car, but we really know it's a Stuart Haas racing car. And then you got Byron in an old Hendrick Cup car that has been converted to an Xfinity car, and you got Kyle Larson in a JRM Motorsports car. So all these drivers are extremely talented. I think all of them have a great, a great chance to lead. Once practice and qualifying is done, most likely you're going to try to focus probably on 2 of these drivers and then trying to, again, pair them out with some of those high positive place differential plays or plays that have the ability to finish inside the top 10. So when you get to Ross Chastain, Hill, Allgaier, Gregson, Mayer, Barry, Creed, Jones, I don't really see myself playing them unless they're start super deep in the field. I just don't think they're going to have the ability, the upside to get out front and lead laps. Really, I think it's only going to be Larson, Allmendinger, Gibbs, Byron, or Custer who's going to be that lap leader. And again, just trying to find the 2 of them in that range that you feel the most confident in and find a way to make it work with your line. So once you figure out kind of those 5 drivers, which 2 you feel the most confident with, maybe even 3, I haven't really built lines yet. I'm not really sure if you can do a really aggressive stars and scrubs lineup. You might be able to. So really after that, it just comes down to, okay, what plays on the slate messed up in qualifying? What plays can I fit in? What value is there? So for me, initially, I really like the price tag on Daniel Hemrick, and Riley Herbst. Those are drivers who I think might start outside of the top 10, maybe 12th to 15th, and I think they have great finishing potential. Might be able to give you some place differential upside as well. Myatt Snyder runs pretty well on the road courses, $7,300. He's relatively easy to fit in lines. LeBay, Gralla, and Sieg are all drivers I think will start maybe in the 20s, a little bit deeper in the field, more of place differential plays. Not that I'm not going to get to, Lally is really in the SS green light car, so I don't really love that equipment. But, Clements, Burton, Alfredo, kind of just depends on where they qualify. Pardis is usually a pretty good road course driver. He's really only runs the road courses for DGM, and DGM is decent equipment. I mean, it's not terrible by any means, but it's not great. Josh Bilicki is in the Alpha Prime car. I think he has, some great value there at $5,900. Brandon Brown, one thing to keep in mind with all the crazy sponsorship and funding issues, he is in the BJM 5 car, which will not be very good. So he is pretty cheap on the slate, but keep in mind he is not in his regular car. We will talk about that driver in a second. Austin Wayne Self stepping in for another Jordan Anderson car. He's going to make his Xfinity Series, I think, debut, trying to qualify for this race and have a good run. And once you really like a lot of these drivers down here, a good chunk of them aren't even going to make the race. But one driver that I am somewhat interested in would be Chris Wright down there. He's only $4,800. Yes, he is a caution machine. Yes, he has wrecked a lot of Nice Motorsports trucks, but he brings a lot of funding, a lot of sponsorship with him. Saw an opportunity, I think, in the Xfinity Series with Brandon Brown struggling for sponsorship money. So he is hopping in this 68 car this weekend, and I think for the rest of the Xfinity season. Chris Wright is a little bit more of a road course, I don't want to say specialist, but he grew up doing a lot of road course races, and $4,800, especially if he starts deep in the field, really allows you to stack a lot of those plays that we feel very confident about. Maybe you can get 3 of them in your line instead of 2. So real quick, just initial thoughts preview video. Just have a hard time seeing anyone else besides Larson, Gibbs, Byron and Custer really even having a chance of winning this race, really even having a chance of earning, dominator points. So it's really, those are the 5 drivers I really want to focus on, and then trying to figure out which 2, maybe even which 3 I want to, be higher on the field on, which ones I want to be a little bit lower on the field on, and then just looking at the starting grid, looking at practice time, looking at 2022 road course data, and finding some drivers on the slate that we can pair with those drivers. So once practice and qualifying is done, we'll get this updated, posted on Twitter. It's at FastCarsFM. Our Cup video, preview video is up right now too. So just real 2 quick middle of the week, thought videos. If this has been helpful in any way, leaving a like on the video is appreciated. Subscribing if you haven't, it only takes a second. And any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But that'll do it, and we'll talk to you very shortly.